Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm talking about my Magnet Warrior Genesys deck profile. I made some weird decisions with this one, so I'm definitely going to go over it in a bit more detail than my last deck profile. And Genesys really is just like an actually interesting format as I'm like sorting this deck out and looking at how it's built. It's actually built so differently from Advanced format. But honestly, Genesys lately has felt like weaker powered advanced format. Like the decks are still branded in Radiant Typhoon. You still see like almost full power Odeon instead of just like they just don't play the Primite stuff. You still get just so much. I mean, even Magnet Warriors, you can still play Magnet Warriors there. And I'm not going to lie, I do wish that I played something different just so I had a different experience. But the deck did perform, it did very well. And yeah, that's what we're talking about today. So to start off this profile, we've got one alpha. That's right, we're playing the whole Berserkion package in this deck. We've got the 3 betas. That's a mandatory in any Magnet Warrior deck. We have one gamma. Gamma is actually really useful, especially if you have an extra beta or alpha in your hand or something. It makes a Gorgonic Guardian pretty easily. We've got one delta just because the beta shuffle is completely legal in Genesys and can really shut your opponent down. We have 3 epsilons. I know you could probably play 2 epsilons, even 1 epsilon. I kind of like it. It's a weird starter. There's not a lot of there's not as many hand traps that stop this deck in advanced format or in Genesys that there is in advanced. So epsilon sending Omega popping another rock to get a rank 4 on your field is honestly pretty good. We've got 2 Sigma pluses, 3 Sigma minuses. This is the ratio that I've been playing in every single one of my Magnet Warrior profiles, no matter what version, even Fiendsmith version, it's always a 3 and 2, just because that's where I like it. 1 Omega plus, you could play another one of these if you really wanted to, maybe just go 2 Epsilon, 2 Omegas. I had the option, I ended up going 3 Epsilon in the end. We've got 3 Plasma Magnums, that's your main starter. It's going to be what you're searching for most of the time. We've got 1 Valkyrion, 1 Berserkion, and then 1 Talision. I always stress that you could probably play 2 Talisions. You know, it's a really good card. It's not once per turn. You could definitely play 2 of it, but I really like the Empyrean Magnum stuff because it can stop a lot. We've got 3 Magnet Bondings and 1 Magnet Induction. I really do like playing 3 Magnet Bondings and 1 Induction. You could go with 3 Magnet Bondings and nothing else. But here's something weird that I did for this is I'm also playing a Magnetic Field in this deck. And I'll be 100% honest, it came up once and it wasn't optimal anyways. So it'll probably get cut in later versions of this build specifically. I went a little bit heavier with Adamanticators. We're going 3 Researchers and 2 Analyzers. This will help with your rank 4 package. It'll also help get some Synchro 7s or Synchro 8s pretty easily. It's mainly there for rank 4s. I'm not actually playing any of the Synchro 8s. So yeah, like I wouldn't worry about synchroing with them, but I do wish I had a Adamanticator Risen Dragite. I'll show you why that's not possible in this deck once we get there. We've got 1 Kawaki Miro Guardian, 3 Duotarians. This is kind of why I want Dragite, just because Duotarian is a water monster in the graveyard. It does turn your negates on. We have 2 Ghost Mourners. There's only 2 because of points. And then we've got 3 Skullmeisters, as I drop the Skullmeister. 3 of them. Generic hand trap that isn't pointed. That's really the only reason here. They got sided out a lot at this event. So really good against branded though. Moving on to the extra deck here, we've got 2 Flux Oxenfelds. We have 1 Empyrean Magnum. We have 2 Plasma Magnums. Very important, the Earth Floodgate doesn't matter in Genesys as much as it does in advanced format, so turning it into one of the rank 7s was actually a more optimal play more often, especially when I played against Odeon, because it doesn't matter at all. Their stuff's already Earth. We've got 1 Gorgonic Guardian, very important card. one Go 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 Goliath. I will never stop playing Go 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 Goliath, and no, you can't make me. We've got one Giant Hand. Giant Hand actually was really cool. I'm glad that I included it. We've got a Gallant Granite. This card is 33 points. That is one of the huge impacts on this deck. I would consider cutting it. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't come up as often as I thought it would. But it's important for the Epsilon being a starter. That's what it is. So we've got a Tornado Dragon. I summoned Tornado Dragon a lot. It was a huge end board piece. Like, it was a staple end board piece, I should say. We've got a Big Eye. Big Eye came up once, but I would consider playing that forever. Almost moving to advanced format with it because I think it's really interesting. We have a Kurzebs. Kurzebs was awesome. A lot of people are saying like, oh, Kurzebs isn't that great. Yeah, not in advanced format. In Genesis, awesome. It came up a lot. You're able to steal MST if they don't destroy it or just steal some of the other things. It's kind of funny is all it really is. We've got a Naturia Beast. Now this card is at 50 points. You don't need Naturia Beast. It's an important card, but I don't think you need it. This is the first time I would ever consider cutting a Naturia Beast. It's solely because of the point value. I don't think it's worth it for 50 points. We've got a Risen Raptite, and then we've got a Chen Ying. Now, I do think that there's a few cards in here that just need to be something else, but this is what I played, which is why it's the profile that you're getting. I will give you an updated profile in the future. If I decide to continue playing Magnets, I may pop up on a Goaty run here soon. I've been aching to play some Fish, so if you're interested in Goaty, watch out for those videos. But yeah, that's all for the extra deck. Alright, and onto the side deck. Honestly, I think this is where Genesis can get a little disappointing. It's just because some of the cards that you have to use. We've got Ultimate Slayer with no Ultimate Slayer targets in the extra deck. That is solely because we already play versions of them. We're just going to have to choose which card we're not going to summon. For example, like Raptite doesn't pop up as often. So getting Raptite out of there to get rid of a Synchro, or getting rid of a second copy of Flux Oxenfeld, or getting rid of Tornado Dragon or Go 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 Goliath, or Giant Hand is probably more likely the thing to get rid of, or one of the rank 7s. You know, that's pretty much why Ultimate Slayer is in here. We have a single Twin Twisters. This card is just 0 points, but this card is 1 point, and I only had 2 points to work with when building. So 1 Twin Twisters and 2 Cosmic Cyclones. And then, of course, we've got 2 Dominus Spirals. This card is not pointed, so if you're playing a deck that is not dark or not light, Dominus Spiral. I sided it in a lot, honestly. Almost every time going second, I sided that in. I also sided these in every single time going second, which is 3 copies of Gamma Seal and 3 copies of Jizukiru. Now, you should be playing the Earth one. I just don't own them. So Jizukiru is what we play. And then I've got 1 extra copy of Alpha and 1 extra copy of Gamma. Those are really just for siding in going first, if you feel you need them. I didn't put them in ever. I never felt that I needed them, so consider doing something else, but they have to be 0 pointed cards if you're playing this list. But yeah, like, that's it for the side deck. Like I said, I think it's disappointing too. Alright, and just because I did say that I'm going to go a little bit more in depth of what we're doing with this deck, I need to explain Ghost Mourner is in the main. Now, you could be playing any of the other 5-point Ghost Sisters, but Ghost Mourner is pretty good against Radiant Typhoon. Even in advanced format, I've been siding 3 of this card solely to deal with Crocea in the draw step. Basically just... It works going second, or if you have a card on your field, like they have a way to play like MST and pop your Imperm, so this being in your hand is super good. So I play that over Imperm. Like I said, the Skullmeisters, they're in here just because they're free. That's really it, and that is it for like my non-engine in the deck, which is just absolutely crazy to me. Everything about this is just gas. except for those 5 cards. Like, you open Duotarian, you have full combo. If you open Kawaki Miro Guardian, you can search for something else off of Gallant Granite. If you open a Researcher, you just summon that, and you're probably going to hit something off the top. Though one time I did hit an Analyzer, it felt real bad. But yeah, like, same thing with like opening Analyzer, especially going second. It's just a free, your opponent has to do something about it, otherwise you threaten full combo, you threaten board breaks. Like, there's so much about it. Now I want to talk specifically about Magnetic Field, because Magnetic Field is a very, very weird choice, and honestly, it's just because I used to play it a lot. I think it was a really good card back before everything else came out for Magnet Warriors. So this is just like, you just have the Electromagnet Warriors alongside a full Adamantipator package. And I did play Magnetic Field there solely because it was effectively a Monster Reborn. But yeah, I decided just to try it out, because you can search this off of Plasma Magnum, and then you can just reborn a monster. And I think it's a really easy way to set up your Xyz plays or your Synchro plays, depending on what you want to do. So like, if you end up putting a Synchro 7 or a Synchro 8, and you have, you know, a 5 and a 2, and you want to summon Adamantipator Risen Dragite, you can use Magnetic Field to at least reborn another level 3 from your graveyard, and then all of a sudden you have a rank or a Synchro 8. So that was at least my thoughts behind it. Like I said, it never really came up. Thoughts on going a heavier Adamantipator package is exactly what I just said about Analyzer. Like, it's solely because it's going to force your opponent to do something about it. Plus, this is just 5 cards that, like, are really, you know, they're not pointed. You could be playing, like, other non-pointed hand traps, but, like, it's not worth really playing any of them except for Skullmeister, in my opinion. So, Magnet Induction is still really good, and, of course, like, the rest of the ratios are just basically what I would play in everything, except I wouldn't usually be playing the Gamma and the Alpha, though summoning a Berserkion, blowing up all of your opponent's stuff, and then using a Researcher to turn Berserkion and it into a Chenying was really, really fun. Same thing with sending Delta and summoning a Valkyrian from your deck and then synchroing it away. That is really, really fun. It's super interesting. I was almost thinking of playing a Ravenous Crocodile Archethys, because I can turn it into a rank 9 with this. So there's a lot of like routes that you could go, and at least that's just some of like the theory behind my deck building here. Not that I feel the need to necessarily explain myself with it, because obviously it performed well. But yeah, like there's a reason that this thing is, you know, performing well. And I do want to say that I won most of my die rolls, and I think that was a huge reason that it performed well. Because going second, it isn't really very good. It's super susceptible to Nibiru, so I was making Imperium Magnum on my turn, like my first turn, a lot more than I would in advanced format, where you're not as susceptible to Nibiru because you're able to throw like a Caesar on board or easily make Empyrean on summon 4 and then continue your plays if that's the route that you have to go. So yeah, Nibiru crushes this. I found that out the hard way. And we should probably be playing Nibiru. So like I said, I would cut Gallant Granite and I would cut Nat Beast and just turn them into something else, because we're already playing so much gas that Gallant Granite often is searching something extra. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know I haven't really been doing my how-to videos where I run like a whole digital combo for you guys. I've been a little stressed out with work lately, but it's going to be changing pretty soon, actually. So hopefully I can start doing some more of those longer form videos, or at least longer for me to edit, because I think this video is actually longer than what I would normally do. But yeah, I'm going to be working on the Ryziel variant of Magnet from here on. And hopefully we're looking at either Ryziel or Fiendsmith at the Rochester Regional coming up, which I will be attending. I will make that decision after playing a bit of Ryziel, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get Ryziel content if I choose to play my minimal Fiendsmith version. Or even I saw somebody playing Millennium now and doing well, so I kind of want to try that out. But I'm also looking at just getting into some other things. I want to try Goaty again in advanced format. I have a whole GMX core here that I'm just looking at potentially trying out, and I definitely have, you know, some some fan favorites here. Like, I have to try these out, you know, the Dark Magician stuff I have to do. So, as always, I've been Danosaur. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you want me to try a different version of this deck. Let me know if you want me to try a completely different archetype or just building something up. Just let me know. Fight with me in the comments if you disagree, and make sure you drop a like, hit the subscribe, and turn notifications on so that way you can see my face again in the future. And I will see you next time.